Internet. Let me wrap it y'all for a moment, right? There is only so much you can do when you only have half the technical information that you need to do what it is you need to do. And that was that video yesterday. I'm like, I only knew about the characters, so I could only clown about that because it wasn't really nothing we could sit down and have a serious talk about them recycling a whole bunch of assets of stuff you've already seen before from characters you're used to seeing and characters who maybe, depending on who you ask, may not belong in a roster. Something, function, something. After I made that video, recorded it, put it up for you guys because I was just on my clown mode shit, is that I found out somebody actually recorded the full trailer because there was a back half featuring Gamora and Thanos, which had some very important, vital information that maybe we should discuss. Let's start with this. Gamora's a fucking beast and I'm in love. Let's just start right there. Let's just start at that point right there. This girl got record chains with guns and swords. A lot that didn't really get showed off when Combo Fiend was fighting Filipino Chomp. So I'm like, it was really good to see that back half of that trailer and see Gamora clowning. I'm like, real talk, I can see myself playing as Gamora because of what she brings to the table. So this goes back to a question that was brought up about what is, and I'm gonna fuck around with this, so don't get mad at it. What is Gamora's function? Well, given what the rest of that trailer shows, is that Gamora can be anything you need her to be. Because she jumping around with these guns. I'm like, she got a motherfucking, what do I want to call it? A custom combo activation where she's sitting up here just jumping around and just dumping. And I'm just sitting up here like, yes, please, more of this. Dumpity dump. Just sitting up here just dumping, going from dumping to slashes, and I'm just sitting up here like, yes. And I'm like Gamora on the team. It's official. I'm like, I need to play as this character because I was getting some Cable vibes, like a little bit. Like I was getting some straight like Cable vibes, especially at the end where she technically used a Hyper Viper beam, but she called it something else. But just for all intents and purposes, it was a Hyper Viper beam, but it was a level 3, so it's not like she busting it out and can Tiger knee you to death. Memories. But yo, Gamora looks sick. Siku. S-I-K-U, Siku, as my Japanese folks would say from over on that far east side. Siku. I want more of this. And I'm like, yo, just dirty work. Now, Thanos was also featured, but he didn't really do that much work. So it's kind of like, well, it was Thanos. The other news, which maybe if I would have had that information, we could have actually had a serious discussion about, which we will a little bit, is we now know about the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone is a command grab because Gamora used it and like put Hagar in a bubble and just said dropped him. So I don't know what that means. Is that there wasn't any like demonstration of if I do Mind Stone and then drop you, do I get a free OTG off of it? Because it does a full splat, so it's not like they bounce off the ground where you can tell it just go splat like that. Just bloop. So it ain't no telling what any character could do, which technically gives you a free OTG, but there'll probably be some limit to how that move works, and you probably can't use it in combos because of the startup, but you could probably catch your opponent off guard and then start with it and then do some dirt. So, you know, that seemed interesting. The thing that I love, because I love these things, is the Infinity Storm of the Mind Gem. Infinite Super Meter, which is a throwback to Marvel superheroes. Now, in Marvel superheroes, it worked a bit different. In Marvel superheroes, when you activated the gem because Mind Stone, okay, so I probably knew I was going to talk about this. So I'm going to stall for a moment. So, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that game. No, that's Marvel vs. Capcom 1. No, I need Marvel superheroes. Yes, delicious. Okay, so luckily I was on the website looking at some other information for something that we're about to get to, because I just want to double check. Does anybody have a special use of the Mind Stone or the Mind Gem? Actually, no. No character has any special use of the Mind Gem at all. So I just wanted to check that. That's kind of strange. Maybe in a perfect world, that would have been Anita's gem. In a perfect world, the Mind Gem would have been Anita's gem had they fully fleshed out the character. You should play the Japanese version of Marvel Superheroes on Sega Saturn for that information. Just want to just let you know that. I'm like, something that Gamora did that as a team with her daddy was Thanos did a super, tagged into Gamora. Gamora did what I think is a level 1 and then super canceled into a level 3. See, math children, that's 5 super meters. In this game, you only get 4. That's going to be weird to get used to. And I have been meaning to mention that like forever. Like 4. But I do understand why it's 4, because you have 4 plus whatever you can activate your Infinity Storm. Hold on, I need some water. Good warm water that sat up while I slept. Room temperature. Going right down my esophagus. Anyway, so it gives you infinite super meters. So you do have to wonder like 2 things. Number 1, is there some kind of scaling when you have infinite super meters? Because this is not about to become how the EX versus games work, and those are all the PlayStation ports of all the various versus games. Because in a history lesson that we will get into, spoiler alert, is that I am going to tell you and teach you about how the EX series works for X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superhero versus Street Fighter, and Marvel versus Capcom, where because it's one-on-one, is that hyper combos work differently, where you could like super cancel, and you can super cancel a hyper, and then do another one. It makes for a really weird thing, especially when you get into Marvel vs. Capcom and characters named Gambit who can super cancel to super cancel and then do a delayed hyper combo, and and then do variable and do a variable hyper combo or do variable cross tag combinations, and we can get into that. But the EX games, because of the limitations, play a little differently because of how you can super cancel in the hyper combos and things like that. And it was a lot of ultimately what the state of, because of how I consider it, is that there's everything before Marvel 2 and everything preceding it. Well, actually Marvel vs. Capcom 1, because a lot of what the EX series did on PS1 was heavily into Marvel 2 because of this 3-on-3 tag fight system. So, and then we did that for a couple of games, and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is kind of remixing and doing what it can with stones and bling bling rocks and stuff. So, here's a homework assignment for you. Go play Marvel vs. Capcom on PS1. Because that game is the extreme example of how the EX games work when it comes to hyper combo. So go have some fun with that. Tell me what you find and things like that, and then go find a Japanese copy of Marvel Superhero vs. Street Fighter, or if you have a Game Shark, you can unlock Normaro that way. I'm glad we had some fun with that. Now that I've talked about Gamora and how I've fallen in love, and the Mind Stone and how it's a throwback to Marvel Superheroes, there was some information that I went and dug up, because that was a question, levied to me by the folk Metro 15 about the sausage fest that is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, because I love numbers and math, and yeah, I know this, is I went back and I went and did the math. And I only went back and did the math for one previous game, and I went back to Ultimate. Because I just felt that for the sake thereof, it will probably, given Marvel vs. Capcom's unfinished current state when it comes to its roster and how much we don't know, because in other news, in other news, because I don't want to forget this, because I will, because I love numbers, is I took a look at the leak list again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like getting this information, like, yo, let me check the leak list. Hagar wasn't on it. Hagar was not on that leak list. So that's more characters. So even if Homeboy did leak the list, we still got surprises. Gamora Earth dropping pipes on fools, because, you know, Cody's still locked up. I like, maybe he got free like OJ yesterday. I don't know. I'm like, somebody check on the boy. You know what I'm saying? Because he break out of jail when he feel like it. He can open his locks. Allegedly, he's like the strongest character in Street Fighter, according to people. I don't know. And Guy, you know, he just Guy. You know what I'm saying? Win Maki, son. What up? Anyway, so I went back. And took a look at the league list, and Hagar wasn't on it. Things like that. But let's get to the point. Now, see, like I said, Metro 15, he like, yo, triple Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is a sausage fest. Well, like I said, I went back and I looked at the roster for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which didn't add a single female. It's like, out of the new characters that they added, not a single female was added. Now, there were characters that were planned and things like that, but, you know, we have to put a game out. Who knows what Vanilla Marvel Capcom 3 would be if it wasn't for that disaster that hit Japan, because that screwed up all types of plans. So you never know. Maybe we wouldn't have got that ugly ass hood that I cannot stand. I just don't like it. It's like, we've had this conversation. I'm like, I understand that it exists because you have to put it on the damn Vita, and it has to be dynamic for people to see on their small screen, something Sony calls Capcom, blah, blah, blah. But what you gonna do? So, let's get to the math, right? Now, there are 50 characters in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There were only 13 females, that being Phoenix, She-Hulk, Storm, Laura Kinney. I don't know how you really want to count goddesses, because that would make Amaterasu a female. Well, those are spoilers for Okami. Do yourself a favor. Play Okami HD on PS3. You'll thank me later. If you prefer, you also have the Wii version. You know what I'm saying? The PS2 version, alright, but you know, it's really cool things you can do with like waggle stuff. And I'm like, Okami does a great job with that. So if you need a version to play it on the PS3 or the Wii. You know what I'm saying? If whatever you prefer. But you should go play some Okami. Okami then, and less so, but that game's still good. So, because I got a list in front of me. I have in brackets, technically. So, for the sake of the math that I've already done, even though the math, because it is an even number of 50 that I could do, we will just say Amaterasu's a female. Alright, we'll just go with that. And then we got the greatest style in all the video games. We got Crimson Viper. We got Fifi, Cienko, Jill Valentine, Morgan, Trish, and Miss Tron. So, 13 characters out of 50, which is 26% of their roster is of the fairer sex, right? Just saying. So, given that math, and here's what we currently know, and I'm taking this information for the Infinite roster in comparison to the math to the characters that we know, and that includes current DLC characters as of this moment, because again, the real bootleg trailer that had New Bay Gamora clowning with guns and swords and murking motherfuckers and shit, you know, I just sit here and think about it. Like, she a better Deadpool. I'm like, I think Deadpool might be DLC, you know what I'm saying, you know, to promote the movie, but I don't know who's right those fall on it, but, you know. Anyway, I had a joke prepared, something about Godham and Miranda Baccarin or something. I had something planned, something about Super Team Negatomic Warhead or something, and Colossus, Fastball Specials. Look. What was I? Oh, I remember. See, I'm so busy at my own ass, I can't remember what the fuck I was talking about. Okay. I went to Wikipedia, because to make it fair in the comparison of that, I counted the roster as we know it, as revealed characters, not counting the leak list characters. As of this moment, right now, this morning, hours before the official trailer comes out, even though the streets have already seen it, is there are only 4 female characters: Miss Morgan, Chun-Li, Captain Marvel, and Gamora. out of a full 29, and that includes Sigma and Black Panther, right? Because I'm counting both of them because they are both DLC characters at the very moment. And it's like, and that list includes G.O.D, who we officially learned about Sunday. So we just taking off that. So if you want to take the math, 4 divided by 29, let me see, you can't reduce that into its lowest terms because you would be able, because if it was 4 out of, if it was 28 characters, that would be about, give or take, it's more 14% rounded down than it is up. So right now, out of 29, 14% of this cast is females, which is 4. Here's the thing to consider, because it was the one thing that I didn't know whether or not I wanted to, do the math on this, is that this game is going to heavily rely on DLC. Given that the league roster that we got isn't full, and it's like being technically subject to change and all this old stuff, this should be honestly a conversation we come back to a year or so from now. And I'm not saying it as I'm trying to dodge the issue or anything like that. It's just that, given this information, I don't have a full slate in which to do math on. I can only do the math of right now. That 4 out of the 29 characters are of the fairer sex. That's all we know. 14%, give or take. So, actually, I just want to make sure. 4 divided by 29. So, yeah, it's 13.7 rounded up to 14. 13.7% rounded up to 14. So, that's your math letter. 13.7. 13.7%. Just want to put that out there. 14.7 rounded up to 14 because I don't feel like dealing with a whole bunch of decimal places. And like giving the decimal places because it's 13.793. So yeah, so even if you want to go to the hundreds place on that, you would still round it up to 14 just to have neat math, right? So here is what we've learned today. There are just certain websites I shouldn't just go to for half news. I should go to where I always go for news, and shout out to those people, to get my information so that I can make proper videos. Gamora is new bae. I am going to play as her. She is going to be my main, probably with X, because, that just seems to be the thing that makes sense right now. And probably some G.O.D on the side, because, see, I need that, you know what I'm saying? I need that in my life. I'm like, I didn't really say, I said what I said about G.O.D, but didn't really because I was more into talking technical about, in comparison for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite versus Vampire Savior or Darkstalker 3 G.O.D Damnation, if that's how you get down, and stuff like that. I like what I see from G.O.D. It's like, G.O.D Dom is one of my favorite video game characters, and to see some actual Darkstalkers male representation, finally, well, not finally, because Anna Karis was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Anna Karis was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But see, here's the truth, though. Anna Karis may have not been the best character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You should play Capcom Fighting Jam, though. Anna Karis, straight monster. Monster. Just letting you know. I'm like, there were things in that game that, because of the system itself, that let Anna Karis be something he hasn't been since then. But then Capcom hasn't given him any opportunity to be anything in since then, because that was the last game Anna Karis was ever in. We should fix that. Darkstalkers still taking a damn nap. Thanks, Ono. So, what else did we learn today? Mathematics. 26% of the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 roster is filled with the fairer sex. Only 14% out of a currently announced 29 characters, which includes both Chadwick Boseman and I Will Never Die Sigma. 29 characters that we know about, 14% of them are female, but There are things that I want, such as, you know, Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl, which will even the eyes a little bit. Stuff, because when I sit up here and think about Capcom females, it's like, not like I'm drawing a blank, but it wouldn't surprise me if they drag out Tron for this. And I'm not saying that I don't love to see Miss Tron. I am served by number 627. Just saying. But I had issues, I clouded around yesterday about Nemesis and Hagar, and I'm just sitting up here like, y'all can do better than this. Y'all can do better. And I really think that, I guess what I'm trying to say before we get up out of here is I really wanted Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to be the new Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, where you take more chances with the characters you select. Saki Omokane is one of the greatest things to ever happen to fighting games, because it shows that you can and will take chances and try to create something new about a character who wouldn't normally have it. It's what I like to call the Captain Falcon defense. I have a defense for everything. Saki Omokane qualifies under the Captain Falcon defense because, really, an F-Zero driver, we need to make a moveset for him. Falcon motherfucking punch. They did a lot with Saki, giving her stuff from Quiz Rainbow Dreams, and it's like, I want Capcom to do more of that. But you really got to think, like, what they really gonna do. Like, what can you really do? The only Capcom female that I feel would be justified being in the game, and I mean justified as in that we can put this character in the game and the character can do better for the game, not only for being a representative for Capcom, but being something fun that you can do and see, and that being Akira Kazama from Project Justice or Rival Schools, however you get down. I'm like, it's Akira's turn. That's just what this is right now. It's Akira's turn. Like, every time they've wanted to do something with Akira that's not Street Fighter mouse generation, is she was one of the early characters for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. I heard she was supposed to be in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's Akira's turn. Like, if y'all not gonna give me a new Rival Schools, a new Project Justice, a new something, because whether it's in this or whether it's in Street Fighter 5, I need some Akira in there. I do. I'm like, while I would love to see Akira in Infinite, she could be equally done justifiably well in Street Fighter 5 if you give her an interesting V skill and V trigger, a V gimmick period that works for Akira, and maybe it's, you know, put down a bicycle helmet or something, or giving her a power up or something. But that's the character that I think, the one female character that I really think would be some real justice. It's like, you can bring whatever other females you want, but it's just my feeling that when I think about like Capcom females that they haven't been done before, it's like, that would be perfect. It's like, I sit up here and think about the many incarnations of Nina from Breath of Fire. You probably would want Breath of Fire 1 or 3 Nina, or maybe 2, I don't know, just pick a Nina. You know what I'm saying? But I really think that, okay, I will take back half my defense. Like, if you get Akira in there, yeah. If you get Nina in there, that's wonderful. That's great. I really think that, yeah, I will step back and say, Akira Nina, do that. It's like, if you want to put Nina in Marvel and take Akira and put her in Street Fighter 5, just do something with one of those two characters. Just do something with that. Feel free to do whatever you want after that. And it's like, I spoke about Maki earlier in Laws. Like, I got a feeling that given Abigail and how much you guys hate him, is Maki might be a Season 3 character in Street Fighter 5. Because that gives you Guy while giving you female representation, and then because Maki is Maki Genryusai, you have enough dumbness to really do something with that, especially with, you know, Azuna drop off a fucking wall. So there's that. So So. Okay, now I remember. I was supposed to be concluding this like 5 minutes ago, and then you, internet, let me think about Akira Kazama, and this is your fault. You are to blame. You go look in the mirror. You go look at yourself and know that you let me talk this long. It's all on you. Look, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get up out of here. Cause I got some stuff to do today before I do the stuff that I'm supposed to do with the stuff, which is the stuff, right? Let's see. That trailer is supposed to be up at 10 o'clock my time, so I will be watching that stuff closely before 10 o'clock, so I might have to, prepare my day around that. I might have to prepare my day before I go to work around making sure that trailer gets up ASAP. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I feel like doing that, so don't be surprised if you see something else from me before 10 a.m. How about that? So, I'm going to turn this into a video. Thank you guys for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. Metro 15, thank you very much for your question. Please, if you have any questions, you got something you want me to talk about, please do not be shy to holler at me in the comments. I ain't got shit else to do but answer your questions. Nothing else. I am nothing without you, or something fucking weird like that. But yo, it's for real. If you got a motherfucking question, holler at your boy. I'm like, you can get at me anywhere else. Get at me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Like, if you got a question and you got something that you want to hear my motherfucking opinion on, I ain't got no problem talking all motherfucking day, but y'all know this. So, like I said, if you got any questions, holler at your boy. I got you. See, I answer questions from the folks in the street. You know what I'm saying? This is an open classroom. Feel free to answer. Feel free to raise your hand, because it is true what they say. The only question that's stupid is the one you don't ask. So that should inspire you to answer questions for me. Thanks. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get up out of here. The one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.